Your headlines, your campus, your voice. Presented by RMU students for RMU students. Join us as RMU Live begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The RMU student who was voted homecoming queen just last fall was laid to rest over the weekend, and a memorial service for the RMU community is planned for this evening. RMU Live was the first in the Pittsburgh area to report last week that 21-year-old senior Amanda Workmeister died last Monday off campus.
And police have not yet released a cause of death, although authorities do suspect cardiac arrest. Workmeister was laid to rest in her hometown of Bethel Park over the weekend. Tonight, the RMU chapter of the Delta Zeta sorority, in which Workmeister was an active member, will hold a celebration in her honor at 7 p.m. in the Rogel Chapel. RMU students, faculty, and staff are invited to the event. Campus counselors will be in attendance for anyone who needs to talk.
A 12-year-old accused of murdering his father's pregnant fiancée will stand trial as an adult. Lawrence County Judge Dominic Motto ruled that 12-year-old Jordan Brown must be treated as an adult in the shooting death of Kenzie Marie Hawk on February 20, 2009. Brown allegedly shot Kenzie Marie Hawk in the family's farmhouse. Police say Hawk was 8.5 weeks pregnant when Brown took a shotgun, hid it under a blanket to hide from his younger sister, and then shot Hawk in the back of the head. The male fetus died shortly thereafter from a lack of oxygen. Brown's attorneys are expected to appeal the ruling and attempt to move the case to the juvenile justice system.
A man from the north side dies after falling from the top of a downtown skyscraper. Police say that 37-year-old Thomas Sanchizn fell from the top of the 54-story BNY Mellon building yesterday afternoon. Sanchizn was a 10-year employee of the mechanical operations company, which provides maintenance for the building. It's still unknown whether it was an accident or a suicide, or if anything besides the fall caused Sanchizn's death.
Carnegie Mellon University officials are on alert after a student was pepper sprayed and robbed on campus. Authorities say the robbery occurred early Sunday morning while the student was walking a friend home on Ellsworth and Morewood Avenues in Shadyside. The attacker used pepper spray on the student, took his phone, and ran away. Other students were alerted about the robbery by a campus-wide email. Police maintain that any students who see any kind of suspicious activity should report it immediately.
RMU is honored with the highest federal recognition a university can receive for its community service. For the third straight year, RMU was named on the President's Higher Education Community Service Honor Roll by the Corporation for National Community Service. The Honor Roll recognizes RMU's student partnerships with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Greater Pittsburgh, Mooncrest Afternoon Program, the Storehouse for Teachers, and Coriopolis Community Development Foundation.
Ever thought about making an impact on your school and your fellow students? Now is your chance. The class of 2011, 2012, and 2013 will elect their class presidents on April 14th and 15th. Winners will be celebrated as the face of their class and will be active in events sponsored by the Office of Student Life. If you are interested in becoming a class officer, pick up a candidate packet in the Student Life office. Completed applications are due by Monday, April 5th. If you want to learn more if you would like to learn more, you should contact John Locke, Assistant Director of Student Life at locke@rmu.edu.
A Pennsylvania man is arrested for allegedly threatening to kill a top Republican and his family. Authorities say Norman Laboon of Philadelphia has been detained after posting a video on YouTube earlier this month threatening House Minority Whip Eric Cantor of Virginia. According to an FBI affidavit, Laboon called Cantor a liar and a pig in the video and said he wanted to shoot Cantor and his children. The video has been removed from YouTube's site. Meanwhile, Cantor's spokesperson said the representative, who is the #2 Republican in the House, is grateful for local and federal law enforcement for their efforts in detaining the suspect.
Coming up after the break, find out who is being brought in to investigate Toyota's car troubles, and commuters in Moscow try to return to a normal day after subway attacks.
Plus, it's getting warmer outside, and another Steeler is in trouble with the law. Weather and sports are up next, but first, here's a look at what happened on this day in history. In national news tonight, the complete health care reform package passed by Congress is now law. President Obama signed Part 2 of the reform plan today. The House's bill of amendments to the first plan signed into law last week. The amendments include closing a Medicare prescription drug donut hole and lowering fines for those without insurance once everything is in effect. Students at Virginia Community College, where Mr. Obama signed the bill, applauded the student loan overhaul, also including the new law. Republicans have vowed to try to repeal the laws. Is the acceleration issue in Toyota vehicles a result of electronic defects? That's what top traffic safety administrators are trying to learn by bringing in scientists from NASA to investigate the acceleration problem in Toyota vehicles. U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood said today that 9 scientists from NASA will aid the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's probe into what causes the unintended acceleration of Toyota vehicles that has caused millions of cars to be recalled.
A big shot in the arm for education efforts in Tennessee and Delaware. The 2 states are the winners in the first round of the competitive race to the top program. Tennessee will get $500 million, while Delaware will receive $100 million. The states were chosen by the U.S. Department of Education from 16 finalists to help improve student performance and transform struggling schools. Tennessee Governor Phil Bredesen calls the grant money part of President Obama's economic stimulus law, a landmark opportunity for Tennessee. Education Secretary Arne Duncan said Delaware and Tennessee have demonstrated the courage, capacity, and commitment to turn their ideas into practices that can improve outcome for students. One day after deadly subway attacks in Moscow, commuters are back on the trains in the same subway stations that were targeted, an attempt to return to normalcy, but also a sign of defiance. Matthew Chance reports from Moscow after the horrific terrorist attacks which occurred just yesterday.
Incredible how this city has recovered from the devastating attacks this week by suicide bombers. We're here at the Park Kulturi metro station. You can see these commuter trains that were bombed on Monday morning are now filled with passengers once again, commuting their way to work, getting off as if nothing was happening. But of course, it doesn't mean that the people who died on this platform and at the Lubyanka metro station a short distance away have been forgotten. Just take a look at this. Well, this is a makeshift memorial for the more than 3 dozen people who died in the twin suicide bombings. You can see people have come, ordinary commuters, to pay their last respects, to lay flowers and to say a prayer. Are you frightened?
I'm worried because it's terrible.
When I entered the metro, I felt my legs were shaking. There is not enough security here, and it is quite possible that something bad could happen again.
It's not standard situation, and
so are you
for my family too.
Are your family frightened? Are you frightened about travelling on the metro?
Yes, sure.
There you have it, some sadness and defiance here on the Moscow metro as people pay their respects, but also use these trains to get around their city. But they do so in the fear that they could also become targets. Matthew Chance, CNN on the Moscow metro.
In other news tonight, 26 Pakistani militants and a militia leader are dead after a confrontation with security forces. In a series of violent clashes on Monday in Pakistan's tribal region, security forces retaliated after the militants launched attacks on a convoy and a security checkpoint. Also, Malik Taj, the leader of a pro-government militia, was killed by a remote-controlled bomb. These attacks are a result of Pakistani security forces trying to curb the Taliban. And then back here, of course, it is a very sunny day outside. It's a little bit windy out. It's a little bit chilly if you're kind of up on top of the hill or exposed to the wind.
Would be a very good day to go fly a kite.
It would be a very great day to fly a kite. Now, hopefully, we're going to have some better weather. I know that Channing is here, and there is some very nice weather on the way. So, Channing Frampton, what do you have for us?
Well, Kevin, Jake, temperatures are looking pretty nice right now. 48 degrees here in Moon Township, but I have a little bit of a surprise for you. I thought I'd go without the tie today and wear the V-neck tee because temperatures are going to be on the increase throughout the rest of this week. But like we said right now, 48 degrees here in Moon. Dew point of 29 degrees currently with our 59% humidity, and pressure is holding it steady at 30.00 inches with a high pressure dome that's beginning to move into the area. We'll see temperatures begin to moderate from this. 46 degrees in Beaver Falls, 49 in Burgettstown, 49 in Washington, and 48 up here in Butler. And if we take a look at a wider perspective of the eastern half of the country, you can see temperatures are running a little warmer as you move down to the southwest. 58 in Lexington, Kentucky. Now we're going to see those temperatures continue to move toward this area. 43 in Cleveland, 41 in Erie, 48 here back at home in Pittsburgh, PA. For our forecast for tonight looks like this. Temperatures dipping down to about 34 degrees with cloudy skies moving in, but those clouds will begin to move out as they continue through the rest of this week. Our almanac for today looks like this. Temperatures reached a high degree of 50 degrees earlier this afternoon with a low of 35 earlier this morning. Normals for this time of year are a little bit warmer than what we saw today. 55 degrees for a high temperature. Our record high for today is 82 degrees, and we're going to see temperatures just like that coming up for this weekend. I have more in a little bit. Forecast for tomorrow that looks like this, 63 degrees with mostly sunny skies as that high pressure begins to dominate our weather pattern. And if we take a look at the Frampton 5-day forecast, you can see temperatures move all the way up to 79, possibly 80 degrees on Friday and Saturday as the sunshine continues straight across the boards into this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend to get out and enjoy your Easter Sunday if you celebrate. If not, it's going to be a great spring weather to get out, and we might be breaking some records this weekend. So we're going to go back to the sports and see what's going on in that area.
Thank you, Chan. And coming up in sports, the Pens have a rather productive weekend at the Igloo, as well as re-signing a key blue liner today. Could the Winter Classic be coming to the Berg? And Big Ben is no longer the only Steeler in hot water. That's all next after the break. Philadelphia Flyers have not fared well against the Penguins this season, going just 1-4 coming into Saturday afternoon's contest. But the Flyers are a desperate team fighting to keep a playoff spot. So could they bring that desperation to the Igloo? There's only one way to find out. To the highlights we go. 62 seconds in, Aaron Asham down the wing, floats one on net. Oh dear, skips past Marc-Andre Fleury. 1-0 Philly, last minute of the first now. Jordan Leopold at the point with the slapper. That's stopped by Brian Boucher, but Cooney's there to get the rebound. Chris Kunitz, just as the power play expired. We're tied at 1 to the second. Sidney Crosby in over the line. He pulls up. His shot is stopped, but Duper is there. Pascal Dupuis is on fire. His 18th, 2-1 Pens. On to the third now. Sid feeds it in front to Matt Cook. He is stopped, but Ruslan Fedotenko back over to Cookie, who cashes in this time. 3-1 Penguins. Fedotenko would add one on the power play. 4-1 is the final. Crosby finished with 3 helpers. Pens go 5-1 against Philly on the year. Now to the Leafs on Sunday. Sidney Crosby gets his second of the game, his 47th on the year. 3-2 Pittsburgh in the second period. Now Toronto is going to come back. Freddie Sjustrom in the corner. Up at the point to Carl Gunnarsson. Gunnar ties it up at 3, beating Fleury. On to the third now. Leafs on the man advantage. Some nice passing here. Tic-tac-toe. Dion Phaneuf with the one-timer, and Tyler Bozak jams it home on the power play. Toronto back up 4-3, but the Pens come back with just under 3 minutes to go. Jordan Leopold is going to get off the one-timer from the point, tipped in by Matt Cook, his 15th on the year, and 6 of those have been off of deflections, tied up at 4. This will go to a shootout. After Sid converted, Pascal Dupuis can win it. Just his 3rd career shootout attempt. Looks like a crafty veteran. 5-4 the final. Pens go 2 for 2 on the weekend. Brooks Orpik a career high with 3 assists. Penguins currently atop the Atlantic Division and second in the Eastern Conference. The Penguins will be moving into the brand new state-of-the-art Consol Energy Center next season, but they could be playing one of their home games at Heinz Field on the North Shore. According to a number of sources, the NHL is in discussion with the Penguins, Steelers, and City of Pittsburgh about bringing the annual outdoor game to Pittsburgh next season to be played on New Year's Day. The proposed opponent, none other than Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. Now, neither the Penguins nor the league will confirm anything at this time regarding the game. An official announcement on who plays will not be expected until July. A Florida woman is suing Pittsburgh Steelers receiver Santonio Holmes, saying the one-time Super Bowl MVP hit her in the face with a glass at an Orlando nightclub and then offered to pay her so she wouldn't press charges. Astronaut Mills claimed a lawsuit filed Wednesday that Holmes grabbed her face and threw the glass at her because she was sitting on a couch in the Rain nightclub's VIP section on March 7th. The lawsuit said that the glass hit Mills on the right side of the face, cutting the woman near the eye. The 4-page document also claimed Holmes and a police officer intimidated Mills so she wouldn't press charges. Neither the Steelers or the Orlando PD have had any comment on the incident. Holmes offered to pay Mills because he was an NFL star and couldn't afford to get into trouble, the lawsuit said. The woman felt pressured and incoherently told police that she was hit in the face and was bleeding but wouldn't press charges. According to the lawsuit, Mills is seeking more than US $15,000 in damages from Holmes, who was MVP of the Super Bowl, played after the 2008 season.
All right, well, thanks, Brooks. And that is all the time we have for you this evening. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget, for the latest in RMU sports, make sure you turn into Colonial Sports Center Thursdays at 9:30 here at RMU-TV.
And we'll see you back here 1 week from now, next Tuesday at 5:30 for the next edition of RMU Live. Until then, from all of us here at RMU-TV, thanks for watching. Have a great night.